and welcome to Excel Basics Plus. In our last session we looked at the length of data in a cell, length of characters in a cell, and then we looked at how we could trim any trailing and leading spaces, which then provided us with the correct length of the names of our movie stars here. The next thing I want to show you is how we can actually bring two cells together. So we've got Antonio in cell B5, and in C5 we've got Banderas. And what we now want to do is have one cell with Antonio Banderas in that one cell. So there's a number of ways we can do this. CONCAT is one formula. CONCATENATE is another formula, which is exactly the same as CONCAT. The wizards at Microsoft have just left that there, whilst older versions of Excel are still around. The other is the ampersand. So I'm going to start with CONCAT. Very, very simple formula. What we're telling Excel to do is, hey, get the information from this cell and the information from this cell and bash it together in one cell. Okay, so simple formula equals CONCAT, open bracket. We want to select the first cell, which is B5, comma, and then we want to select cell C5, being the second cell, close bracket, and we press enter. Now, here's the interesting part. In the data set, we've got a space after Antonio, and I know this because the len formula that we used on B5 said that there were 8 characters in this cell. When we did the trim, there are only 7 characters, which is correct. Antonio has 7 characters. There is a difference of 1, which means that in this particular cell, there is a space after the word Antonio. So, if I double click this formula down, you instantly see this is all over the place. And this is why we use the trim formula, and we actually fixed the errors in this line of data. So that then means that perhaps we should be changing our B5 formula, our first name, to the trim result, which is E5. So let's have a look at that. We'll drag that down so all the cells are the same. Okay, so now we don't have the issue of leading spaces or trailing spaces, because I also know that the second names are all correct. There are no leading or trailing spaces. The first name is where we're having the issues. But now we have an issue with there's no space between first name and second name, surname. So this is where we can actually tell Excel, oh, and we need a space between the names. So in our formula, we've got CONCAT, open bracket, E5. So go and get the trim first name, which is Antonio, comma. Now what we want to do is we want to tell it, hey, and now we need a space after Antonio. And the way to do that is parentheses, space, parentheses. That is the space that you're telling it to give, comma, and then bring in C5, which is Banderas, the surname. And we press enter, and we can instantly see, we'll drag it down, we can now instantly see there is a space after each of the movie stars' names, first names, so that it reads correctly. Now, let's have a look at the second option. Concatenate as an example. It's exactly the same as CONCAT. I just want to show it to you. It's equals concatenate, open bracket, and once again we're going to go, we want the trim result, Antonio, comma, we want a space put in there, so we use our parentheses, space, parentheses, comma, and then the last cell is the surname, second name, C5, close bracket, and it's given us exactly the same result. We drag that down and it's exactly the same across the board. Now the last option you can actually use, and this is totally your preference, You can use concat, concatenate, or you could use the ampersand symbol, the and symbol. And what you can actually do here is exactly the same as the concat and concatenate, equals, let's pick up the trim name, so equals E5, and we use the ampersand button, parentheses, space, parentheses, that's our space between the first name, second name, the ampersand button again, and the second name or surname, and just press enter. We'll double click, fill that formula down, and you can instantly see the result is exactly the same as concat and concatenate. It literally does come down to your preference of what is easy. So I prefer the ampersand method because you're straight into the text, and it's very easy to see. Others prefer to actually see the formula equals concat, and that's their preference. So I hope this has been useful for you. Keep practicing and look out for the next video. Thanks.